Saphira 9, the intergalactic factory station, was bustling with activity as laborers from all over the galaxy toiled away in its expansive industrial complexes. Among them was Miara, an alien humanoid with amber eyes and shimmering lavender skin. Despite her quick mind and gentle disposition, Miara found herself Sarah had always dreamed of working on Saphira 9. A beacon of opportunity and diversity in the cosmos. But her excitement quickly faded as she realized that not everyone shared her open-mindedness, her co-workers, particularly a group led by the aliens. Instead, she became the target of relentless bullying from her alien co-workers. As she entered the factory floor one morning, Miara stole herself for another day of torment and made her way to her workstation while keeping her head down. The cruel Sorax made her life a living hell. They mocked her appearance, ruined her job, and cut her off from any potential friendships. Laughs broke out from Sorax and his friends as they came out of their hiding places. "Watch where you're going, freak Sorax," he hissed, his insectoid features showing. She had dropped to avoid drawing attention to herself when suddenly a foot flew out from under a crate, tripping her and sending her falling across the floor. With a twisted smile on her face, or are those large eyes solely for display, Miara got up, brushed off her uniform, and fought back tears. She refused to give them the gratification of witnessing her cry. "Please, just leave me alone," she begged, her voice just barely audible above the others. When Sorax whispered, "Oh, is the little purple princess going to cry? Maybe you should go back to whatever backwater planet you came from." Miara's heart fell to know that she would be facing another day of suffering, even though she longed for it. Little did she realize that her prayers would soon be answered in the most surprising way when, as Miara turned to leave, a deep foreign voice interrupted the laughter, asking why she didn't speak up for her and stop the relentless harassment. Everyone turned to see a towering, broad-shouldered male human walking towards them. His intense blue eyes focused upon Sorax with such intensity that the insectoid bully had to back off. These features were set in a determined scowl. The human halted a few feet away from Miara, his presence radiating strength and confidence. "The name's Derek. I'm the new hire, and I don't take kindly to bullies," Sorax said, trying to maintain his arrogance in the face of this new challenger. Derek laughed mockingly. Oh, great. Another human thinking they can just waltz in. But before he could complete his statement, he moved closer to Derek, taking 2 rapid steps, and lifted Sorax off the ground with one hand, while the insectoids flailed their legs. Ineffectively, as he battled to free himself, Derek growled in a menacing voice. "If I ever find you or your little group bothering this woman or anybody else again, I'll personally throw you out of the closest airlock. Do I make myself clear?" Sorax nodded furiously, his compound eyes wide with panic. Derek loosened his hold, allowing the bully to fall to the ground in a heap. Sorax got up and scampered off, with his friends trailing closely behind. Miara remained there, speechless at the unexpected turn of events. Before Derek turned to face her, he softened his expression as he observed her delicate features and the gratitude beaming in her eyes. "Are you okay, miss?" he questioned in a sympathetic and worried tone. Miara nodded, teasing him with a tiny smile. The corners of her lips. "Yes, thank you. My name is Miara." Derek smiled back, and Miara felt a wave of warmth pass through her chest. "It's nice to meet you, Miara. I apologize for having to deal with those jerks. Nobody deserves to be treated that way." Unbeknownst to her, this fortuitous meeting with the gallant human would result in a love tale that would reverberate. As they stood there, lost in one other's stare, Miara couldn't help but believe that her life on September 9th was going to change for the better. Through the stars in the days that followed, Kara discovered that, for the first time since her arrival on September 9th, she was looking forward to going to work. Dirk's presence on the factory floor had an immediate impact, and Sorax and his gang stayed away to avoid incurring the Despite the fury of humanity, Miara couldn't help but sneak peeks at her new guardian, ogling his powerful jawline and the way his uniform draped over his broad shoulders. Derek, on the other hand, made it a point to send Miara an email throughout the day, delivering a supportive message or as they worked side by side. Miara started to open up to Derek, telling stories about his travels across the galaxy and marveling at the bravery and inventiveness of humanity. Derek was always willing to provide a helping hand. Derek listened carefully, his eyes never leaving her face, and Miara felt a connection as she shared her own stories and hopes with him about her home world, a lush paradise of rolling hills and crystal-clear lakes, and about her family, who had always encouraged her to follow her heart. One day, as they were having their lunch break in the factory cafeteria, Derek cleared his throat and looked at Sarah seriously. "Miara, there's something I've been meaning to ask you," he said, making Sarah's heart skip a beat. Felt a knot in her stomach. "Yes, Derek. What's going on?" Derek reached across the table and took her hand, his calloused fingers soft against her smooth skin. "I know it's only been a short while, but there's something special, I think." Miara smiled brightly and grabbed Derek's hand in return. "I'd love that, Derek. I feel the same way about you, and they made arrangements. Between us, I was thinking if you'd want to go out with me later, maybe explore the stage together." On their first date, Miara marveled at the unexpected turns that fate had taken only a few short weeks earlier. Whereas she had been sad and alone, dreading every day at the factory, she now had a champion, a friend, and maybe more. The date was a frenzy of excitement as Discovery Derek showed Miara all of his favorite sights on the station, including the exotic market district, where vendors peddled weird delicacies and offered glimpses into 100 different worlds, and the observation deck with its stunning views of the stars. As the date came to an end, Derek took Miara back to her quarters, his hand comforting and warm in hers, and they lingered outside her door, neither of them completely understanding the delicate artistry of alien artisans. Their laughter and conversation flowed as naturally as the cosmic winds, ready to say goodbye. "I had the best time tonight," murmured Miara quietly, her amber eyes gleaming in the dim hallway light. "Thank you for everything," she said, and Derek grinned down at her, raising his free hand to cup her cheek. "The pleasure was all mine," Derek said. They leaned in toward each other, lips meeting in a tender, heartfelt kiss. Miara fell into Derek's embrace, her arms encircling his neck as she absorbed the taste and feel of him. "You're an amazing woman, and I feel privileged to have met you." As they parted, breathless and ecstatic, Mara realized that the arrival of this extraordinary person had irrevocably changed her life. All of her worries and fears seemed to vanish at that instant, replaced with a sensation of warmth and belonging that she had never known before. In a galaxy too frequently split by prejudice and fear, human together, they would overcome whatever obstacles the universe gave at them. As Miara and Derek's friendship grew, the dynamics on the manufacturing floor started to change, and Sorax and his it appeared that Derek's steadfast support of Mara had caused a shift in the hearts and minds of others around them, encouraging others to stand up for her. The gang, who had formerly been the bane of Mara's existence, suddenly found themselves on the receiving end of cold stares and muttered criticism from their fellow workers. Emboldened by this newfound solidarity, Miara began to speak up more in meetings and offer creative ideas to streamline production processes, standing up to the bullies and their petty cruelties. Her supervisors took notice, praising her inventiveness and dedication, and soon she found herself being groomed. Derek was extremely proud of his girlfriend's accomplishments and made sure to tell her so whenever he had the chance. He was in awe of her fortitude in overcoming her past hardships to become a leader in the organization. Miara looked to Derek with a serious expression on her face one evening when they were sitting together in Derek's rooms. Derek felt a flash of alarm, but he took her seriously. It was a shining example of what a little compassion and understanding might do. Derek's expression lit up as he held his hand reassuringly, saying, "You can tell me anything, Mayara. What's on your mind?" Amber's eyes met Derek's. "I've been offered a promotion. They want me to oversee production on a new line of advanced spacecraft components." Split into a broad smile and drew her into a tight hug, saying, "Mayara, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you." However, as he withdrew, he noticed that Mayara's expression remained troubled. "What's wrong, love? Isn't this what you've been working towards?" she asked, nodding. But there's a tinge of doubt in her tone. "But the new job would need me to go to a different station across the galaxy. I wouldn't know if I could handle the idea of being away for months at a time." Derek's heart tightened at the idea of being apart from Mayara for such a long time. But he knew he couldn't obstruct her dreams. So he CED'd her face in his hands, his thumbs wiping away the tears that had begun to fall. "I want nothing more than to be by your side forever, and I love you more than anything in the universe. But I also understand how hard you've worked to get here, so I won't allow you to blow this chance." Because of my lower lip quivered as Mayara leaned into his touch. "But what about us?" Derek grinned softly, his blue eyes glistening with love and resolve. "You could never lose me, Mayara. No matter how far apart we are, my heart will always be with you, always be by your side, and besides, it's not like we'll be apart forever. I promise." Mayara studied his face for a long moment, searching for any sign of hesitation or doubt. When she saw none, she rushed forward and passionately kissed him. Breathless and flushed, Derek placed his forehead against hers as she gave him a final embrace. "I believe in you, Mayara. You're going to do amazing things, and I'll be here cheering you on every step of the way." Mayara nodded. Holding each other close and enjoying the warmth and comfort of their love, Mayara had a tearful smile on her face and said, "I love you, Derek. Thank you for being my rock, my champion, and everything." Mayara knew she could handle anything the universe threw at her as long as she. The day of Mayara's departure came far too soon for either of them to enjoy. As they stood together in the busy spaceport amid the chaos of travelers and freight, Derek held Mayara close, remembering how it felt to have her in his arms. Derek laughed softly and planted a kiss on top of Mayara's head. "I'm going to miss you so much," Mayara said, her voice muffled against his chest. "Arms, the scent of her hair, the sound of her heartbeat. I'm going to miss you so much." "Should be the one informing you that you're the one setting out on a grand adventure." After all, Mayara drew back just enough to give him a glance, her amber eyes gleaming with a mixture of fear and excitement. "Without you, it won't be the same. I will always be with you, Mayara. No matter how far apart we are, you will always carry a piece of me with you, just as I will carry a piece of you." Derek cued her cheek, his thumb grazing the smooth lavender skin. Derek reached into his pocket and took out a small velvet box. When he opened it, Mayara's eyes widened, and she saw a delicate silver pendant shaped like a star and adorned with sparkling diamonds. "Derek, you've had to see this," she thought, her fingers shaking as she reached out to touch the shimmering surface. His fingertips lingered on her skin as he removed the pendant from the box and tied it around her neck. "Mayara," he made a vow that no matter what happens or how long we are apart, my love for you will always be there. You are my light and my guiding star. Maya put her arms around Derek's neck and embraced him tightly, so strongly that tears streamed down her cheeks. "Derek, I love you so much," she said, hugging him for a long time, even in the dark. When the final boarding call for Mayara's ship echoed through the spaceport, the couple, relishing their final moments together, reluctantly separated, their hands clasped tightly. "This isn't goodbye," Derek said firmly, his blue eyes intense with emotion. "We'll see you later." "I'll hold you to that, my darling. With one more kiss, one last embrace. Before you know it, they're together again." With her head held high and her heart full of love and resolve, Derek watched as Miara nodded. Derek couldn't help but feel empty as he made his way back to the factory, a gap that only Miara's presence could fill. But he knew that their love was strong enough, her pride and longing wearing in his chest until she faded from view. To endure any hardship or obstacle that the universe may present in the months that followed, Miara flourished in her new role, winning the respect of her peers and superiors for her creative ideas and unwavering work ethic. She also maintained a close relationship with Derek. Every video chat and sincere message they exchanged strengthened their love, and when the day finally arrived for Miara to return to September 9th, Derek was ready to greet her with wide arms and a beaming heart as her ship docked. The months she had spent apart from Derek had been full of amazing adventures and career victories, but nothing could match the thrill of returning home to the man she loved. As soon as she walked off the gangway, she spotted Derek standing upright, and her pulse beat with excitement, and proud among the throng of anticipating loved ones. When their gazes locked, the outside world vanished, leaving only their hearts pounding perfectly. Mara hurried to him, forgetting her baggage as she jumped into his arms, beaming with happiness. "I've missed you so much." Miara pulled back just a little bit, Derek said, holding her firmly and burying his face in her hair as he breathed in the scent of her, the feeling of her, and the truth of her coming home. They returned to Derek's quarters, laughing and chatting as they caught up on all the little moments they had missed together. She smiled brighter than any star in the galaxy, saying, "I've missed you too, Derek, every day, every moment." Time apart, Miara noticed while strolling about the station what had changed while she was gone. The once dull hallways were now brightly painted with murals that showed cooperative and unifying moments between the several alien species who called Cipher-9 home. Derek grinned happily as he watched Miara take it all in, marveling at the changes that had occurred on the factory floor as well. New safety procedures and worker protections had ensured that no one would ever have to experience the kind of harassment and abuse that Miara had. He gently squeezed her hand and added, "You started something amazing here, Miara. Your courage and compassion inspired so many people to stand up for what's right and fight for a better future for everyone." As she leaned into him, her heart was full with love and appreciation. "Without you, Derek, I never would have had the courage to stand up for what I believed to be right." As they entered Derek's quarters, he turned to face her. His expression changed to one of seriousness. "Miara, there's something I need to ask you." When Derek bent down to pick up a tiny velvet box from his pocket, Miara's heart seized in her throat. "You are my inspiration and my love, and I have known since the day I first laid eyes on you that you were unique and intended to be a part of my life. I want to spend the rest of my life making you as happy as you've made me. You've shown me what it means to be brave, kind, and true to yourself." He opened the box to see a breathtaking "Yes, Derek." Yes, 1,000 times yes. Tears of delight streamed down Mara's cheeks as she nodded. The ring was a platinum band set with a single flawless diamond. Derek slid the ring onto her finger, his own eyes beaming. As he stood up and pulled her into his arms, tears filled his eyes. They shared a kiss that was full of promise and love, a surety that they had found in each other forever. In the years that followed, the love between Dirk and Sarah only became stronger. Unbreakable in their link, they overcame hardships and triumphed together, always standing side by side and holding hands. They also realized that nothing was impossible for them to accomplish as long as they had each other, as they gazed up at the stars and the endless possibilities of the cosmos. Subscribe to watch more amazing sci-fi stories.